Everyone, and welcome to my astrological outlook for Monday, March 15th, 2021. And let's get into the astrology for today. I hope everyone had a great weekend and a wonderful new moon in Pisces with the Venus-Neptune conjunction over the weekend. I hope everyone used that time to go inwards and connect to your higher purpose, your higher self, divine inspiration, intuition, wisdom, in order to cultivate your gifts within you that you can manifest your ideals into reality to serve the world and your loved ones and yourself. Because that is where we're going in the coming years. Things are going to start looking more and more like that. Today, though, we have some big shifts going on this week. There's some major energetic shifts that are taking place. Some of the big outer planets are moving degrees, which creates a definite change in energetics. And we also have some energetics in effect that are pointing to some pretty specific messages for today. And also some Sabians that are pointing back to the new moon and linking today's energy to that new moon as well. So we'll talk about all that. So the first thing I want to say today is the sun is at 26 Pisces, and that means that the earth is at 26 Virgo. The sun and the earth are always oppositional to each other. The Sabian symbol, or the energetic frequency resonance that this specific degree, 26 Pisces, resonates to is, listen to this, a new moon reveals that it's time for people to go ahead with their different projects. And I think that's beautifully appropriate for the first Monday following the amazing, magical, beautiful, special new moon that we just had to close out the Pisces season of the Pisces age. And now the first degree that's being emphasized on Monday, the week following that, is verbatim, a new moon reveals that it's time for people to go ahead with their different projects. So we're going to go with that, and we're going to say that today is a good day to go ahead with whatever projects you may have planned or envisioned, or the intentions that you set or the goals that you laid out for this new moon through the balsamic and the dark moon, the planning time. Now is time, appropriately, apparently, to start initiating and acting on those things. So I just thought that that was interesting, and so we definitely have a green light today to go ahead with anything that we have been planning or intending, kind of take initiative to start making progress towards any plans or goals that you put in place over the weekend or the days leading up to that when we were in balsamic moon phase, which I talked a lot about in my videos from last week. So that's number one. Number two, today we have the moon in Aries, and it's going to be conjuncting the Eris point, which is 21 degrees of Aries. The Sabian for that is a boxer entering the ring, and that is a very charged degree of the zodiac that is in effect a lot of times when big things happen. And it also happens to be right now in a loose square with Pluto, who's still in Capricorn. So there could be some fiery, rebellious, aggressive energy today. Just to keep in mind, it is because the moon is conjuncting the Eris point and in a square to Pluto. So just something to keep in mind if you encounter situations that seem a little extra heated. That is what the Eris point can do. And the moon is our emotions and how we feel. So that's how that goes. Now moving on. Really the big news heading into this week is that, like I mentioned earlier, we have had some significant energetic shifts that are happening between yesterday, Sunday, and today, Monday. And those started actually with the Black Moon, which is a planet that I put a lot of emphasis on, and I study a lot, and I really make sure to take into account when I'm looking at astrology, because it rules our subconscious behavior patterns, our subconscious and shadow side issues. And a lot of times those are actually the things that are guiding our action. A lot of times, like the decisions that we make and the things that we do and the people we align ourselves with and, the relationship dynamics we find ourselves in are not necessarily having really much to do at all with our conscious decision making, but are propelled by unconscious shadow side issues and urges that cause us to act out in certain ways and affect our behavior and our decisions and the people and the circumstances that we draw into our life. So I always pay special attention to the black moon because where it's at now represents, basically what we're all dealing with to some extent or another in terms of our subconscious fears and the behaviors that result from subconscious motivations that we may or may not be aware of, depending on how much time we've actually spent analyzing our own behavior patterns and finding the root causes of, various issues or whatever. So when the black moon moves, it's a big deal. And the black moon moved degrees, and it's now at 17 Taurus. Up until yesterday, the black moon had been discharging 16 Taurus, which was an old teacher failing to interest his students in traditional knowledge. And that is kind of a theme that we can see play out in the world a lot these days, especially if you're paying special attention to things. The old rules, the old institutions, the old ways of being, the old dogmatic beliefs that have set up cultural norms are kind of dissolving and falling away as people are becoming more disillusioned with the control mechanisms and various societal constructs and dynamics from the past that are just not becoming less relevant and not functioning the same anymore. And this goes across every arena of life basically that you can think of, but that's something that we've been dealing with, is the old ways not working anymore as a shadow issue generally throughout all of kind of the global socioeconomic societal situations right now. And the black moon's position, I think, has something to do with that. It's also in Taurus, and Taurus is the sign of resources, building a strong foundation. It's the sign of what you have and what makes you feel, stable and secure. It also rules money, finances, economies, and like I said, resources, which translate to stability and security. And so with the black moon there, it's not a coincidence that it has lined up with the whole COVID lockdown, financial, all of the issues that are going on right now with the financial systems and the transitions, the financial and economic transitions that are upcoming. The black moon in Taurus has a lot to do with that. Uranus in Taurus has a lot to do with that also, but we'll talk about that more another time. Anyways, to get back to my point, I'm getting blown up right now. With the black moon moving degrees today, it moved to 17 Taurus. And the Sabian symbol of 17 Taurus is a symbolic battle between swords and torches. That's the degree and the frequency that the black moon will be charging for the next few weeks. It stays at a degree for about 2 weeks. And so I imagine over the next few weeks, there will be some type of battle that unfolds unconsciously, subconsciously, the two, the devil and the angel on the shoulder type of feeling about this with the black moon there, having better judgment, maybe not wanting to act on it, but being called to make a choice or some type of battle. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see some type of heated conflicts come out on a political level, or this could go a lot of different ways. But generally, there's a duality to it. It's two different weapons that can be of equal power. And we'll see, we'll see which way it's going to go. Is it going to go towards the swords, or is it going to go to the torches? Is it fire, or is it air? It's just interesting. And right now, Saturn is in Aquarius, which is air. And there isn't really much in fire. So I would think that the swords would more resonate to the age of Aquarius energy and dynamic. So maybe that means that there will be some type of clearing over the next few weeks while the black moon is here, and we'll be able to somehow move subconsciously more into the air dynamic of things and away from the fire. Okay, and that's a very loose interpretation. I'm going to have to look more closely at this because it could go a lot of ways, but those are just the things that came to me off the top of my head. Next, we have the nodes moving degrees. And the nodes are significant because they rule karma and destiny, the past and the future, what we're being pulled to, and what we are very comfortable with. The North Node is what's very foreign to us. The South Node is what we have a lot of practice in. And our soul's path is to try to cultivate and learn the lessons of the North Node. So we have the nodes changing today from the North Node was, and it's interesting because we have another indication of duality. At 15 Gemini, the nodes were at 2 Dutch children talking and studying their lessons. And now the North Node is moving to 14 Gemini, which is 2 people living far apart in telepathic communication. So this is interesting to me. And the South Node, as it is at 14 Sagittarius, the pyramids, and the Sphinx. This is really interesting to me, the nodes moving to this position at this point in time, because the age of Aquarius really is going to be a lot more about telepathic communication. We won't notice it right away, but as we get more into the age of Aquarius, which is all about air, it's very Aquarius is an air sign, but we have Saturn in Aquarius right now, which is an air sign. We have Jupiter in Aquarius, and soon Pluto will be moving into Aquarius. So that means the structures and the fundamentals and the regeneration of things is going to be through an air dynamic. And with that, the air waves and communication on a telepathic level is indicated as something that will evolve into a more normal part of human life as we transcend and evolve into the age of Aquarius. It probably sounds crazy now, but it's something that a lot of astrologers are noticing is a likely development, and it makes sense in the greater concept of things. And a lot more air travel. You'll see a lot more to do with space, ether, technology, and science. Dealing specifically with the ether is going to be a big thing. Also magnetism, a force that can move through the air that you can't see. These type of technologies and themes are going to become a lot more relevant and significant and commonplace as we move through the age of Aquarius. But with the nodes here, 2 people living far apart in telepathic communication, that means to me that over this next period of time, while the nodes are discharging this degree, that there will be our ability to receive flashes of insight and intuitive connection with people, or you could call it enhanced ability to telepathically tune into people. I think that this is a development that we might actually see for this period of time, because that is a tool that could help us in the context of everything else that's going on as we close out the age of Pisces right now and move through this next lunar cycle to the beginning in the new moon in Aries. Kind of like dusting up a little bit on our ability to, and also to have empathy and to perceive other people's feelings. Just a general ability to connect more with people and to be on the same page with people without necessarily like blatant, overt displays of like saying, what things are. And then the South Node has moved to the pyramids and the Sphinx. So those are the ancient past. That's ancient Egypt. That's what we need to move away from, is the binding stories and tradition that have kept us enslaved to a master other than the divine God, which is our subconscious programming. That's what that translates into. Our souls being enslaved to the ego instead of aligned with the higher self and the higher path, which is what we're all trying to do, or what the universe is trying to get us to do, so that we can move into the age of Aquarius and the new moon in Aries with a fresh ability to receive divine inspiration and to channel that into something that we can tangibly manifest and share in order to receive and sustain ourselves. And that is what this whole like cycle is about. So I think that that's interesting right now that the nodes have moved to those degrees. With the North Node at that degree, it also gives us the ability to perceive other people's needs. Like I said, back to the empathy, the telepathic communication. But yes, just an enhanced ability to connect to those around you and to kind of like understand where they're at and what other people are dealing with, so that it can help us in assessing what we can give, sort of. But there's a lot more to that too. This is just, and we'll talk about this degree a lot because it'll be in effect for quite a few days. So that's that. Black moon shifting to the next degree, the nodes changing degrees, and also tonight we have Saturn, karma, and the master teacher changing degrees to 11 Aquarius. And this is an interesting evolution of energetics because at 10 Aquarius and for the new moon, Saturn was discharging a man who had for a time become an embodiment of an ideal is made to realize that as a person he is not an ideal. And in my new moon video, and while Saturn's been at this degree, I've talked a lot about how for all of us karmically, we may have developed a false ideal about what is appropriate and what is good, like truly good and moral behavior. And now we're having to go back and reassess if, maybe we were misguided. Maybe what we thought to be the highest, ideal and the best way to act and go about things, maybe it's not. And maybe we need to reassess those things and take responsibility for where we veered off course and then, reassess and get back on track. But so that's what we've been dealing with in terms of our karma and what Saturn's been asking us to do for the past few weeks while Saturn was at 10 Aquarius. But now Saturn's moved to 11 Aquarius, and the Sabian symbol at 11 Aquarius is during a silent hour, a man receives an inspiration which may change his life. And so this goes right back to the energetics that were in effect at the new moon, which were all about tuning in and receiving divine inspiration and then being able to utilize that to build and to create a self-sustaining system that our lives can operate from without needing external support as much as we have. And with Saturn discharging this degree in a silent hour, a man receives an inspiration which may change his life. That's our lesson right now. So, universe gave it to us for the new moon. That means that we have that lesson this entire month. And now Saturn is here really emphasizing, get in touch with yourself, turn inward, stop looking outside for people to give you the answers about how to cultivate your potential and just cultivate your potential. Figure it out and harvest, find your inner resources and harvest your soul for what you can create, contribute, tune into other people, find out what the need is, and then put yourself in front of those people and provide what you have to offer that spirit has guided you towards. That's what we're all being asked to do, because that is how the new world will be built, and it will be much more effective and efficient than it has been when we've all been giving our own personal independent power away to form into whatever box or do whatever job or perform whatever task, duty, whatever we need to get a paycheck and, support our families and stuff. Now the universe wants us to figure out what we can personally contribute on our own and how we can build. And God, divine, spirit, universe wants to help us with that if we will just take the time to reflect, connect, listen, and then, act on the intuitions and the urges that we receive with faith. So Saturn is very serious about that, and that is what we are going to be working on all month long, but especially while Saturn is discharging this degree. Okay, so that's the big shifts that are happening this week. We have the Black Moon shifting to the symbolic battle of swords and torches. That's like the epic battle of good and evil. That's like the archetypal battle, like the Star Wars, every archetypal battle of good and evil. That is pretty much what that represents. And with the Black Moon there, it's like there's shadow around it, and it's causing subconscious issues collectively. But the good news about that is that the Black Moon is in Taurus, and the depositor of the Black Moon right now is Venus, because Venus rules Taurus, and Venus is conjunct Neptune in Pisces, doing beautiful, beautiful work. So again, in order to overcome that battle, we turn back to spirit, we turn back inwards, and we open and embrace the innocence and the purity and the joy and the wonder with life that all of the Mary and little white lamb symbolism over the new moon and the degree of Neptune over the past month has been asking us to cultivate inward. So yes, we had the Black Moon shift, we have the nodes changing degrees, and we have Saturn changing degrees. So those are three big influences, and as we go through this week, there will be a tangible shift in energetics that most of us should feel. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about today, I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over, like a broken record. I promise my videos won't always have the same theme of turn inwards, connect to the divine, receive your inspiration, cultivate your gifts, and spread your service to the world in order to provide for them, and then you're providing for yourself. Like, that is just the theme that is going over and over and over. I can't get away from it, and I feel like I'm saying the same exact thing in every video, but I have to go back to it again. There's 3 planets today talking about receiving spiritual messages, being in communication with the spirit world, the divine making contact with higher realms to receive divine inspiration, communications, and messages. Like, it is what it is. I don't know, what else to say, but we have Venus, 23 Pisces, a materializing medium giving a seance. We have Saturn, like I just said, 11 Aquarius, in a silent hour, a man receives an inspiration that may change his life. And, I forgot to mention, there was another planet, another big deal planet that changed signs, so that makes 4. Shiloh, stop doing that. Please stop doing that. So that makes 4. So this is going to be a huge energetic shift this week. Chiron moved degrees also, and it takes Chiron forever to change degrees. And that's a really big deal too. Chiron is the wounded healer archetype. It rules, it would take me forever to explain exactly all that Chiron rules, but it basically rules where our greatest wounding is, but also our greatest potential to excel and to become masterful. Chiron rules wounding, trauma, but also it's the master frequency and gold at the end, the gold at the end of the rainbow. Like Chiron is amazing, but and I follow Chiron very closely. But Chiron changed degrees today also to a crystal gazer. So we have today a materializing medium giving a seance, Venus. We have during a silent hour, a man receives an inspiration which may change his life, Saturn. And we have Chiron moving to 9 Aries, a crystal gazer. So that's 3 separate big planets. Well, Venus is not a big planet, but where she's at right now is significant. Discharging an energetic that is asking us to connect to a higher power, other realms, the spirit world, God, and receive messages, communication that we can then use in our lives, or that we can help us understand things better. So there's a tremendous amount of guidance available right now. Today is a really good day to ask your spirit guides for assistance, to meditate, to really just try to tune in to your higher self, your higher power. Pray, God, ask for dreams, ask for messages, be open to receive these things because they're there in abundance for us to receive today specifically, and all month long because of what happened at the new moon. So today is the beginning of a shift of energy that we'll experience throughout the next few weeks. Is very appropriate, happening following the new moon. And that's basically all of our themes that are going on today. So I hope everybody has a beautiful Monday, and I will see you back tomorrow for the astrology outlook for Tuesday. Thank you guys. Bye.